Have you ever wondered how some of the most powerful 3D tools in the world make money by actually being available for free? I mean, Blender is free, Unreal Engine is free, Godot is free, and even tools like Daz Studio are free. And yet these tools connect to hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars in value. But how is this possible? And more importantly, what does this mean for artists who are building their skills, careers, and workflows around these tools? Professional 3D software from Autodesk, Adobe, Maxon, or SideFX can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And yet, these tools continue to thrive while giving the software away for free. There is something much bigger happening behind the scenes. So I went through these companies' official royalty terms, licenses, and business models to see how this actually works. So stick around to find out how these 3D tools make money by being free and open source. Now, before we start making all this make sense, there are two things you need to understand: free-to-use software and open source software. These are two separate things that most people confuse. A great example of this would be Unreal Engine and Blender. Unreal Engine is the perfect example of software that is free to use, but highly restricted and proprietary. You can download it for free and use it for free, but Unreal Engine is only free until your product starts making serious money. But with Blender, it's open source. You can take the code, modify it, and build a custom version for its own production pipeline. Now, this is why a lot of big companies love open source software, because it spreads out the burden of checking for software issues, and open source software can be easily modified for special purposes. An example of this is the SPA Studios, which created a heavily customized version of Blender called Blender SPA. This internal toolset includes a fork of Blender with core changes, a sequencer add-on for editing multiple shots at once, and a 2D animation add-on that enhances the grease pencil experience for traditional animators. Because Blender is open source, anyone is legally allowed to take its code, change it, and create their own version of it. The only catch is that Blender is released under the GNU General Public License, or GPL, meaning if you distribute your modified version of Blender to other people, you have to follow the GPL rules, unless you only use the custom version internally. Now, when I say the word open source, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? For some people, they think about an alternative to closed source software. For others, they think about a much safer version of closed source software. But for many people, when the term open source is brought up, they think about the word free, and for the most part, this is true. However, in the term open source company, there is the word company, and as many of us know, a company needs to make money. It has employees, it has running costs, and for it to work, it needs to generate some form of money. And that's the big question. How the hell are these companies making money while giving away their software for free? Well, you could say open source companies make their money by being owned by a closed source company, right? A great example of this would be Cocos, a free and open source real-time 3D and 2D game engine used to create video games, mobile apps, and interactive web experiences, which was recently acquired for $72 million and is now owned by SUD. So you could say Cocos doesn't need to generate money because it was acquired and now being funded by SUD. However, this is not completely true because there are a lot of companies that are independent and not owned by some closed source company, but solely making money on their own by being a free and open source company. Okay, if acquisition is only one way, what are the other ways? So let's talk about how they actually make money. I'm going to talk about at least 5 common ways these companies make money. Let's go through them one by one. And I want to start with the one that feels a bit sketchy: credit-based models. This is mostly common with AI-powered 3D model generating tools. They are introduced as free by giving users free monthly credits. But if you think about it, the free versions feel like they are made bad on purpose, limited even. While you do get free credits, but every bad or failed generation will cost you, and if you want better quality, more generations, and downloads, they will slap you with an expensive subscription, and before you know it, you're hooked. It's not illegal, but it is designed to make sales. So the next way is royalties and licensing. So, as I said already, open source software usually lets you see and modify the code, but it still comes with license rules. Free-to-use software, on the other hand, can be free to download and use, but still remain proprietary. So there are companies built around this. Take Unreal Engine or Unity, for example. You can download them for free and use them for free. But once you start making serious revenue, their royalties, subscriptions, or licensing rules start to apply. With Unreal Engine, for example, games and other products that rely on Unreal Engine's code at runtime, Epic Games only starts taking royalties after the product passes $1 million in lifetime gross revenue. After that, the standard royalty is 5% on the revenue above that first $1 million. But this does not mean every Unreal Engine project pays royalties. This mainly applies to products that rely on Unreal Engine code at runtime and are distributed to users, like games. And with Unity, yes, Unity is free to use for beginners, students, and independent developers through the Unity personal license. But once your total annual revenue or funding goes above $200,000 US, you are required to upgrade to the Unity Pro subscription. And if it goes above $25 million US, Unity Enterprise is required. So that brings us to our third method, donations and corporate sponsorships. This one is my favorite. Open source projects such as Blender, Godot Engine, and FreeCAD are supported by non-profit foundations or associations that rely on entirely different revenue streams. They're often funded through recurring donations from the community and corporate sponsorships or memberships from large companies and organizations that benefit from the software's development. People voluntarily donate because they simply love and believe in the project. Companies sponsor because the tools benefit their hardware, workflows, developers, studios, or ecosystems. Now, not every company makes money from its licenses, royalties, or donations. Some make money from everything around the software. Which brings us to the fourth method, 3D libraries or asset marketplaces. This one is simple. The software is free, but once you start building with it, the assets, plugins, and add-ons around it won't always be free. A great example of this would be Daz Studio. Daz Studio is free to download, but its real business is functioning essentially as a digital storefront where people buy characters, clothing, hair, poses, environments, props, and other 3D assets. And this same idea can be seen with Unity's Asset Store and Epic's Fab Marketplace, where they generate massive revenue through their connected digital asset marketplaces, which sell 3D models, textures, and animations. So, in this case, the software gets you in for free, but the marketplace around the software is where the money is made. Which brings us to the last method, cloud services and subscriptions. Rather than selling the software itself, some developers charge for services around the software. This can include cloud rendering, online asset storage, project management tools, team collaboration, or premium educational libraries. A good example of this would be Blender Studio. Now, Blender itself is still free and open source, but Blender Studio is a paid subscription platform where users can access training videos, production files, rigs, assets, and behind-the-scenes content from Blender's open movie projects. So these are the 5 main ways free and open source software makes money. Which brings us back to the question from the beginning. What does this all mean for artists who are building their skills, careers, and workflows around these tools? Well, I think it means artists should use these free tools as an opportunity, but not solely depend on them blindly. You need to have some sort of understanding of the software, its limitations, its licenses, and how they make money. Otherwise, with some free software, you are the product. And the moment you start getting serious, you will start paying one way or another. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Drop a nice comment about open source software, and I'll give you a thumbs up for staying right till the end. And if you did enjoy today's video, check out this video next. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow me everywhere, and I'll catch you in the next one.